Welcome to Look Around the Confederation. I'm your host for evening, Moose. And before we get started, please remember the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor Division Brigade camps or any of the subsidiaries. How is everybody doing in Dixieland tonight? We have a great show for you planned. We have Tennessee Division Adjutant Tom Wood coming on to talk about his platform, to talk about him running for Army of Tennessee Commander. Last week, we did Army of Northern Virginia Councilman Kenny Ramsey, who is running for Army of Northern Virginia Commander. So we're getting through our interviews now. We're rocking and rolling. We have at least 3 or 4 more planned or scheduled. So we are rocking and rolling now, and we are going to be getting into that very shortly. We're going to kind of jump quickly into some camp division news. First bit of news does take us to the Tennessee division with Mr. Richard Garcia, who is a part of a team that made up these baseball cards. There are 50 cards, $20 a piece. They're fantastic, a great learning experience. I know they are being sold at Elm Springs. I think they're sold out right now because I went to Elm Springs a couple weeks ago, tried to buy me one, and they're out right now. So, Mr. Richard Garcia, if you are watching, I would love a copy of them. And see, look, the fireworks agree with me. I don't know who StreamYard is putting this into my live stream, but they have. Let's see here. We have Mr. Ryan in the chat. Good to see you. Mr. Scotty. The Florida man, Sean McFall in the chat. Good to see you. Kentucky Division Commander Kyle Thompson in the chat. Keith, Mr. Frank, Mrs. Beth. And I believe Mr. Al's in the chat as well. Good to see everybody. Good to see you. Brian, good to see you. Just kind of going off the map real quick. My camp, the Samuel H. Poe camp, number 255, celebrated our 30th anniversary last year. And we made these challenge coins to celebrate. And they're just $10 a piece. And it helps us continue to defend Confederate heritage in Wayne County, Mississippi. You can contact either the camp adjutant, me, by the way, at Harrison SCV on Facebook, or you can contact our camp commander, my father, at Forest SCV on Facebook. We'll both be happy to help you. Sometimes it's a bit hard to get in touch of us. I know one of our SCV chat heads, bless his heart, me and him have been going back and forth, and I've been just so busy. But I'll try to get you the challenge coin as quickly as possible. Past Commander-in-Chief, Paul Gremlin Jr., the most sharp-dressed man in the SCVs in the chat. Good to see you, sir. Victor Smith, good to see y'all. We got a lot of good audience tonight. Keep sharing this out. Let's make this a great episode for Mr. Wood. Let me get this off the screen. The General Forrest 200 Society, of course, was made a couple years ago to celebrate General Forrest's 200th birthday. Of course, all these proceeds you would give to this General Forrest 200 Society, you get to be a part of a limited society. They're only taking 200 members. You get this lovely challenge coin, a patch, and a lapel pin. All funds go to General Forrest's boyhood home to help preserve it. I don't know if we could do anything better than that. All right. Going into the Army of Tennessee Workshop, which will be held May 4th at our headquarters in Elm Springs, Columbia, Tennessee, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. There are only 65 spots available for this workshop due to room size. So register now to guarantee your spot. Registration is $15, which includes lunch. Pre-register by March 15th, which the deadline for that has patched for lunch. After March 15th, registration fee will be $20 with no guaranteed lunch. All divisions are welcome to attend. Speakers will include Membership Coordinator Eric Pavetti on Commander and Adjutant Training, Army of Tennessee Councilman Carl Jones on Building a Better Camp, Army of Tennessee Commander Jimmy Hill on Community Involvement, and many others. The annual pilgrimage will also be going on in Elm Springs, and they will take a break of the workshop to attend the main event of the pilgrimage. Afterwards, you guys will have lunch and then continue with the workshop agenda. There will also hoping to have a free tour of the museum or the house as part of this registration. Sounds like an ultimate win-win, doesn't it? You get to learn at the Army of Tennessee workshop, have the pilgrimage, maybe get a free tour of the museum and the house. I don't know what could be better. And of course, as we just talked about, the pilgrimage will be going on, and it will be happening at 11 a.m. Keynote speaker is Miss Jenny, who is the President General of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. Individuals, camps, brigade, and divisions, and other organizations are encouraged to bring a floral tribute to be announced at the laying of floral arrangements. Services will be moved inside if weather is rainy. Please bring a lawn chair, sunblock, and a cooler. And remember, no alcohol allowed. It's going to be a great day, a great event to go out and celebrate with your brothers and sisters in the cause. So make sure I see you there. Next up is the Army of Trans-Mississippi National event held April 6th, Saturday, 2024 at Mansfield State Historical Site in Mansfield, Louisiana from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Guest speakers include Scott Dearman, Mansfield Site Manager retired, Charles Ray, Army of Trans-Mississippi Councilman, Dr. John Goddard? We're going to go with that. Bless his heart. I feel like I've butchered his name for the past month promoting this, and I do feel bad, sir. I'm sure I have some Louisiana boys in the chat ready to correct me, and I'm happy for the correction. And past Commander-in-Chief Chuck McMichael. Mark your calendars for this historic event as you get to celebrate the 160th anniversary of the Battle of Mansfield and the 125th anniversary of the Louisiana Division. Administration fee is $4. For anybody under 12 and over 62, it is free. This includes the museum. Please bring your chair for the event. You may also want to bring a small cooler for snacks and drinks. Don't miss this fantastic event. Of course, I'm hoping to be going to this event. It is going to be a phenomenal event. You get to celebrate two awesome things, the Louisiana Division and this historic battle that our ancestors were on. So I hope to see you all there supporting the Louisiana Division and honoring our history. And we're going to stay in Louisiana for the Pleasant Hill Kickoff Party, April 6th at 6 p.m. at Mansfield Female College Museum. Come join us for an award ceremony, fellowship, and entertainment as we celebrate our 160th anniversary season. It's going to be a great event. And then, if you're free, I would go to the Battle to Pleasant Hill from April 12th to April 14th. Phenomenal event. Entry fee is $5 a person. Ages 5 and under are free. Free parking, reenactments, and activities will take place 3 miles north of Pleasant Hill. And at 10 a.m., there will be a parade. This is Saturday, by the way. 11 a.m., parking and camps are open. 11:30, guest speaker. At 1:30, opening ceremonies. At 2 p.m., the battle will happen. And at 7 p.m., period bar and court presentation. On Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is a school day, so bring your kids. Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., camps will start to open. Church services will be at 10 a.m. And at 1 p.m., we'll have a crowning ceremony for the 2024 Miss Battle of Pleasant Hill. And at 2 p.m., the reenactment will start again. Another great event. It's going to be phenomenal. There is our Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief, Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, calling me out for having problem with Louisiana names. That is fair, Commander. Just making sure we didn't miss anything in the comment section while I was doing some of this news. It looks like Keith doing the headbutt emoji, palm slap. Yeah, the Battle of Texas, the Battle of Pleasant Hill is one of the best reenactments out there. I would highly encourage everybody to go. Let's see here. We're going to start wrapping up on some of this. Louisiana Division reunion will be May 17th through the 18th. Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp 1308 of Shreveport, Louisiana will be the host of this year's reunion. And this, of course, is the 125th annual reunion of the Louisiana Division, Sons of Confederate Veterans. The reunion will be held in Shreveport, Louisiana, the last Confederate capital of Louisiana, also the headquarters of the Army of Trans-Mississippi. They will be coming out more about this event shortly. And the last event is the Florida Division reunion, which will be held on June 1st, 2024 in Trenton, Florida. Again, more information about this will be happening shortly. All right. Good to see everybody out there. We got a good crowd now. We are going to have a quick Pop-Tart break. And when we come back, it was time for my interview with Tennessee Division Adjutant Tom Wood, who is running for Army of Tennessee Commander.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
Always love that commercial break, but I would like everybody to welcome Tennessee Division Adjutant, Mr. Tom Wood.
Thank you, Moose. Pleasure to be here. To have this opportunity to talk to everyone. I want to thank you and Connor for all you folks do. This is just a great communications way of getting out to our communities. Appreciate you guys for that.
Well, thank you, sir. Tell us a bit about yourself, Mr. Wood.
All right. Before I forget, I want to publicly thank our AoT Commander, Jimmy Hill, for his 4 outstanding, dedicated years of service to the AoT. You know, I've told him this in private several times, how much I appreciate his work, but I just publicly want to acknowledge what a great job he's done in 4 years. A little bit about myself personally.
Yes.
I am been married to the same lady for 56 years. We have 3 daughters. We have 9 grandchildren. And Lord willing, in September, we will be great grandparents. So we're excited for that privilege and opportunity. I am a retired Air Force Reserve officer. I'm also a retired construction executive with over 40 years in the construction business, working for some of the larger companies across our nation. And it's been a pleasure to retire from that. I've been retired for 10 years and Since then, basically my job has been full-time SCV. I currently serve as the Tennessee Division Adjutant. I also serve as the commander of the General Robert H. Hatton Camp in Lebanon, Tennessee. That's been my full-time effort.
Well, that's awesome. Could you tell me a bit of what got you in the SCV and all the stuff you've been involved in?
Well, I've been a member of the SCV for 25 plus years. During that time, I have served as multiple terms as camp commander. I've served probably in just about every position within the camp that one can serve over those 25 years. And for the past 8 years, I have served basically my full effort toward adjutant of Tennessee Division. So my focus has been at the camp and division level. I've done a lot of traveling across the Confederation in those 25 years. Oftentimes as a presenter of some topic for the evening, sometimes just to go and encourage and support camps. And the reason that I decided that I had a desire to be the Army of Tennessee Commander is based on this. As I have traveled around visiting camps, I've seen some areas of concern. I think we all share many of those concerns. Number one has been recruiting. Some camps really struggle with recruiting. Retention is a serious problem for us. We all know that. And we've got to, and we can talk about these things in more detail as you desire, but we have got to focus on retention. One of the things that I have found out in my visits around many camps, member education, not only historical education, that is one area that needs addressing, but education of our organization. I've seen many members that know nothing about our organization above the camp level, and may not even have a good understanding of the camp level, to tell you the truth. They know nothing. And I've been asked many questions about who are we, what who does what in this organization. I think we've got to teach our people about our organization. How can you get excited about an organization you don't know much about? Communications is a serious issue for us. Our folks put out great publications, but unfortunately, I'm hearing that oftentimes these publications are not reaching our membership. There are breakdowns in our structure, and these things are not getting where they need to go. Leadership training, I think, is a serious thing for our organization. I even experienced this in my own camp, and I've seen it in many other camps. People unwilling to take leadership positions. And I think part of that is just a lack of confidence. About 4 years ago in my own camp, and I have a strong camp, very active, national and award-winning camp, at state level as well. And I could not find somebody to take on the camp commander. And I thought, oh my gosh, we could be close to folding the doors on our own camp. So I decided I had to do something about that. So I started encouraging our folks about this and trying to teach them and admonish them and encourage them. And now I've got some of our younger folks, I've got them on board now, and and I've got them on staff, and I've told them, I said, look, I will train you. We will help you. We will do whatever we can to get you comfortable. I think our folks need a comfort level to take on leadership. I said, we will get you to a comfortable level where you'll be okay taking on the leadership roles. And they're doing well. They're doing very well with that. And I'm going to get them activated. I've told them, I said, I'm going to get you activated into our camp meetings, and I'm going to have you do some speaking in front of the camp, get you comfortable in front of our camp. We're making great progress with that. And there's so many camps like that. I mean, we are literally, Moose, we're losing camps. Camps are folding because they can't find leadership in the camp. We've got to do something about that. My sixth thing here is continuing encouragement and support of our members. We cannot encourage each other enough. We can't do it. We've got to be supportive. I've seen too many examples of criticism instead of support. Somebody's doing something that is a worthwhile thing, and somebody else doesn't like that particular thing, and they criticize them for it. Well, don't criticize them. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Do something else, but let them do their thing. And so we've got to work on that too. We all know that. We've all seen the criticisms and the lack of support. So that's something else that I want to work on as AoT Commander. So my focus, and as you could see from what I just said, my focus is on our camp level. We cannot pay enough attention to our members. We cannot take our members for granted. We can't. And for me, this job is a boots on the ground job. This is getting out and seeing what's happening at the camp levels. I've seen it, especially in Tennessee. That's how I came up with this platform, as you call it. This is where my efforts are. And the reason I've been thinking about this position, if you want to call it the position, I call it a job. But my reason for wanting this opportunity or this job is to strengthen our members. We strengthen our members, we strengthen our organization. Weak camps make a weak organization. So we've got to work closely with our members. That's what I want to do. And the reason that I desire this job, is that I can influence more people at that level than I can at division level. I've had a great influence, I believe. I don't mean to brag. I believe I've had a great influence at my camp level and at my division level. But that only takes me so far. I think this position will allow me an even greater influence with our Army of Tennessee.
Okay. Now, I have, as I told you before the show, some specific answers, but something you said a bit ago, I agree that there's a problem with recruiting and retention. Let's tackle recruiting first. What are some of your ideas for recruitment?
One of the things that I've worked hard at my camp,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things that we've got to work hard at every camp, is to get involved in our communities. Our camp is very involved in our community. We do many festivals. Fortunately, we have in our city in Lebanon, Tennessee, the state fair. We have done the county fair for probably 25 years at recruiting booth. Now it's the state fair. Now we get to talk to even more people than before. So we've got to be involved. I have began writing. I'm fortunate that we live in a pretty good community, not perfect, but a pretty good community. And from a Southern support standpoint, I have newspapers here that will publish my articles that I write, and I write a lot of articles about history and about some of the Southern things, such as historical mansions in our community, and historical people in our community. I've written articles about our namesake, General Robert H. Hatton, is from Lebanon, and we had one battle here in Lebanon. So currently, that's going to be published here in the next couple of weeks or so. So we're really getting involved, and we're involved with Toys for Tots and for other things. We help in other community ways. So we really have, in the last 2 or 3 years, we have really begun to reach out to the community. And this is something I push hard with my camp. We've got to get our name out in the community. So we do everything we can in our community to. And last year, we recruited 11 people into our camp, and we already have. I've got one filling. I've got 2 filling out applications right now. I've got 3 or 4 other members, 3 or 4 other people interested in joining. So already this year, we're probably off to potentially 5 or 6 people in March. So we're rolling. I think we're doing the right things, and I want to give some ideas and some of these kind of thoughts out to other camps. I have done this. Matter of fact, let me tell you this. Just recently, last few weeks, I've been encouraging my camp to get out and visit sister camps, to encourage them, to support them. Some of them are smaller. Many of them are smaller. I guess all of them are smaller than us, really. And so we went to a camp, has 25 members, but they only get about 5 or 6 in attendance. Of course, attendance is a problem for all of us, right? So they didn't have a program that night. And so I just said a few things to them. And I asked them, I said, have you ever advertised? Of course, we advertise all of our meetings in our newspapers and encourage the public to come. So I said, do you have a friendly newspaper? Well, yeah, sure. The editor is a former member. Well, why is he a former member? First question. And so I said, yeah, we have a friendly newspaper. I said, do you advertise in it? Have you ever put your meetings in it? No, never thought about that. So I talked to him about some other things, and they got so excited. Truthfully, they got so excited that they said, will you come back and talk to us next month? And I said, absolutely. I'd be glad to do that. And they said, and I'm going to the newspaper tomorrow. I'm going to advertise it. And we'll have a chili supper. I mean, they got so excited. And so we went the next month. We had about 19 people there, 19 or 20. And I had a good meeting. They loved the speech. Everything went great. It was wonderful. So they just needed a little encouragement and just a little bit of a couple of ideas, and they were off and running. So, these things sometimes seem really simple, but camps just don't think about them. I think they focus so much on being small that they're not able to do anything, which is absolutely not true. They can do a lot as a small camp. And our small camps are struggling. I have seen our smaller camps, lose a member or two, and they're gone. That's it. They're finished. They need help. They need a lot of help, and that's what I want to do.
Well, yes, sir. That's awesome. Now, one thing that's always been interesting to me, I love hearing recruitment ideas. Much like you, I like to see our membership grow. But as I've gotten more active in the SCV, retention is also a problem. I just would like to hear some of the ideas you want to do with that.
Well, there are several. One is that we need to teach our smaller camps and maybe even some of our larger camps how to have a successful meeting. I have been to camps that we have to treat every meeting as a recruiting campaign, because it literally is. It's a retention campaign to keep our members. If we don't have good meetings, worthwhile meetings, our members are not going to stay with us. If we have a guest to come in the door that night, he has come for a purpose. He wants to be involved in some way in our organization and in that camp. And if he sees what he considers an unprofessional meeting, he's gone. He ain't coming back. We have a lot of members that come through the door as Tennessee Division Adjutant, and I follow Nationals numbers as well. We have a lot of people that come through the front door. We have more people going out the back door. When our members don't renew, we have to follow up. We have to find out why. Why did you not renew? Yes, members pass away. Yes, members move. Yes, there are reasons that we lose members. But we lose members for no good apparent reason. And we need to understand why. We're not meeting their needs in some way. We're not doing something that they want to do. We need to find out what it is that interests them. You know, we all have different interests. What interests them? What do they want to do to get them involved? What would they like to see the camp involved with? And I think communications with them, constant communications, is important. We have to focus on them. Think about them. If what would you want as a member? What would you desire from your camp leadership? So we got to focus on that.
Yes, sir. Now this one's not really specific, but I'm loving the ideas you're having. So I kind of want to go with that. You know, are there anything specific off the top of your head you would like to talk about tonight? Anything you want to kind of just go into?
Well, yeah, there are some things. I appreciate this opportunity. Member education. I went to a small camp in rural Tennessee several months ago to give a presentation. Well, number one, I knew this happened. The camp commander called me and he said, "How would you like to come down here and give us your campaign speech?" Well, I knew that he thought I was running for Tennessee Division Commander and not AoT Commander. Well, I said, "Sure, I'll come down." So I went down. I was just going to give him some presentation of some topic. And I asked him a question. Every time I go to a camp to follow up with our communications and our education, I asked them, have you seen this magazine? Have you seen the Sentinel?
Mm-hmm.
And the camp said, "I don't know what you're talking about." They had never seen the Sentinel. And this is not a unique situation, by the way, let me tell you. Yeah. So the whole night was spent on answering questions about our organization. Never got to my topic, and that's fine. It was more important that we talk about the things that bothered them. So I found out through all my travels, our members, they really don't understand our organization. Who does what? I've even been asked, and I know it's just they don't read oftentimes. I know that it's not National's fault or anybody's particular fault because they don't read like they should. But I was even asked the question, who is Jason Boshears? Well, they knew the name, but they didn't know who he was or what he did. We need to fix that as best we can. So we've got to educate our people on our organization. Who does what, how big we are, we're nationwide, we're this, we're that, encourage them and let them know. I mean, we had a great meeting that night, and they really appreciated my answering a lot of questions that they didn't know, they didn't understand. We briefly talked about communications, and this is all part of communications, getting these documents. As a matter of fact, going back to that meeting that night, the camp commander, when I said, do you get this newsletter magazine? No, never seen it. Well, the camp commander sheepishly said, well, I get it because I sent it out to all the Tennessee division. So I know all the camp adjutants get it. So the camp commander said, yeah, I get it, but I don't know how to distribute it. He didn't know how to distribute the email to his membership. So another member spoke up and he said, send it to me. I'll get it distributed. So we have to find out what's happening. Why are people not getting this information? Because I think this is valuable information to get out to our folks. Leadership training, talked about that. Absolutely critical. I can't tell you how many times I have had an adjutant or a commander call me or email me and say, hey, I just got this job as commander or adjutant. I have no idea what to do. I have no clue what it's involved here. We can't do that to our people. That places them in a terrible, awkward position, uncomfortable position. And sometimes they give up and quit. I try to help them get through it all. But we've got a real lack of support at our camp level oftentimes. And we find a sucker to take an adjutant's job or a commander's job, and boy, that's it. I mean, boy, we got a commander. He doesn't know what he's doing, but we got a commander. We got to fix that.
I could not agree more, Mr. Wood. Let's see here. By the way, chat, you can throw some questions out there yourself for Mr. Wood, especially if you are in the Army of Tennessee. I know some of y'all who are in it, but I don't know all of y'all. So make sure you state your camp and division if you don't mind. Let's see here. Just kind of going through our some of our questions. And again, we've talked about some of this already, but one thing that we've dealt with in the SCV is negative public reception. And
yes.
How do you plan on trying to combat this, lack of a better term, woke narrative about the SCV?
Well, there is a misconception in many of our communities. We've heard it said many times, we're the best kept secret in our communities. And I wrote an article for the Sentinel recently, I think, and I said, I think it's fear to put our name out there because we're afraid of rejection, we're afraid of criticism. We've got to put a good image out there. And one of the ways that we do that is to get involved in our communities. to show them that we are actually leaders in our community, that we're there, we're good people, that we're not a bunch of anti-government terrorists, but we're leaders in our communities. We can't be afraid to reach out. We can't hide in the shadows any longer. And that's what I want. That's what I want to help camps do, is to give them ideas how to reach out, to get involved in the communities. Every camp is different. They're all different. They all struggle in different ways, and so we have to deal with those struggles for them. But we've I think it's through education. It's through community involvement. It's through education. We have to know who we are. We have to know our history. So when somebody says, "Oh, you're all for slavery," well, we have to know how to fight that, how to educate people, and we got to be educated to do that. So we need to train our people how to combat these woke things that we see all the time. And I know that some of them, they're not going to listen, but some do. I tell you, I used to be a reenactor. I reenacted for over 20 years. I portrayed a Civil War surgeon. Matter of fact, the medical display at our National Museum is loaned there by me. That's my display. And I displayed that for 20 years. I collected for a long time and displayed that for many years. Talked to thousands of people. I mean, that was the great thing about it. I got to talk to thousands of people about the war and who we are. And I never forget, I talked to a lady one time, and she was receptive to what I was saying. And I told her, I said, "Well, if you like to read, I have a book that I'd like for you to read. You really like Mr. Lincoln." And so I said, I would like for you to read a book if you are willing. And she said, "Okay, what is it?" And I said, "The Real Mr. Lincoln" by De Lorenzo. And we ended the conversation, and she left, and we were at the fair, set up at the fair. By golly, she came back the next year at the fair. She said, "Do you remember me? You talked to me." I said, "I do remember you." She said, "You know what?" She said, "I read the book, and you were right." She was no longer an advocate of Mr. Lincoln. See, we just have to know what we're talking about.
Yes, sir. Now, before we kind of go back to the questions I have, we do have a couple from the crowd.
Right.
This gentleman is from the Louisiana division, but he's also a lieutenant commander in chief, so I guess I'll throw up his question.
Right.
Lieutenant Commander in Chief Walter D. Donnie Candy asked, at a recent AoT event, only 20% of SCV members were receiving messages from the SCV Telegraph. For those who don't know, that's an email that gets sent out by National about important things they want you to know about.
Sure.
How can we get more members to sign up for the Telegraph?
Again, it's communications. I don't think our members realize what the Telegraph is.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think this is an effort that can be done from the camp level. Bring it up to our camp members, what the Telegraph actually is and how it works and how it informs you. Again, I think we're not getting to our targeted people, really. Our leadership and all that is on the Telegraph, but I don't think our people are.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you, Mr. Wood. All right, now
that's a great question.
Oh, I like that one. This one's a bit more just wanting to know more about you, I suppose. This is from Jack DuPont from my division, the Mississippi division.
Yeah.
Bless his heart, he's my aide de camp, so I run him
Okay.
wild.
Okay.
Jack asked, what got you involved in the SCV?
I'll be down at your camp in Picayune, Mississippi in June. What got me involved in the SCV? For several years, I lived in Arizona. I was born in Tennessee. I'm a seventh generation Tennessean. Very proud of my heritage, but I lived for a number of years. I went to college and began my career from Arizona. In Arizona, they talk about cowboys and Indians, and they talk a whole lot about the Civil War. I appreciate all our camps in Arizona, by the way. I have great respect for those guys, and would love to get out there and visit some of our brothers out there in Arizona. When I moved back to Tennessee, I didn't know anything about the SCV. I had left Tennessee at a fairly early age, and so one of my cousins was going to Lipscomb University at the time, and he had written a research paper on one of our relatives who was a Confederate soldier. I had no idea that we had Confederate soldiers in our family. So I said, "Wow, how cool is that?" And so I was at our fair one evening, and SCV, my future camp, was there recruiting, and I met them. I went to the meeting and got initiated and got involved in reenacting, and that's how the whole thing started.
That's awesome. Let's see here. Has anybody else got any more questions right now? While I guess we wait on this, I think I got one more question for you, Mr. Wood.
All right.
I guess this is more of not what you're going to do in the Army, but the whole national as a member of the GEC.
Mhm.
Looking ahead, what do you envision as a key milestone or accomplishment for the Sons of Confederate Veterans during your potential tenure on the GEC?
I would like to see us grow. I want to put an emphasis on numbers. I think numbers are important. I don't expect everybody to be a full blow and go, but even those members that just want to be members and they don't do much else, I'm okay with that. If that's what they want, numbers are important. We got to get numbers. Of course, we want to encourage everybody to get as involved as they possibly can. Retention, and these are measurable. These are measurable goals. Did you grow? Did you retain all your members? And I want to see improvements in all the areas that I have talked about tonight. And my primary focus is the AoT. Yes, I know this position is on the GEC, and for me, that's important because I can hopefully have some influence that will help strengthen our members and to strengthen our Army of Tennessee camps and our members. Because my real focus is on the Army of Tennessee strength. And I think as I said, it's a boots on the ground operation. I know Jimmy Hill has traveled many miles and many hours in his efforts. I anticipate traveling many hours and many miles to get around to as many camps as I can. And I'm hoping that between myself and the councilman, whoever's elected there, can do a lot of traveling and get around visiting people. We can't do it. We can't do this job from our desk. We can't accomplish it by attending a few special occasions in various divisions. That doesn't hack it. I think we've got to get out where they are.
Yes, sir. All right, chat heads. I'm gonna give one last call for any questions for Mr. Wood. Don't be shy. I guarantee you, Mr. Wood would love to answer anybody's questions. He's been very nice to me tonight. You haven't seen me. All right. Well,
I'm always nice to you, Moose.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Is there anything you kind of want to say as we're kind of starting to wind down, Mr. Wood, about the SCV or running for Army of Tennessee Commander or anything like that?
Well, the SCV has become very important in my life. As I said, this organization gets my full-time effort. When I had my career, it was a very demanding career. I did what I could for the SCV, but I couldn't give it my all. People that work have a hard time doing that. I had a hard time doing that. But since I retired, I've said, okay, this is my job now, to do everything I can within this organization. I love my state of Tennessee. I love the South. I think the South is the last defense that this nation has to save this nation. Not just the South, but this nation. The South is the strongest part of this nation. Mm-hmm. And it's up to us to save it, I believe. And whether Carl gets this position or I get this position, we're both going to do the best we can at this position. Carl and I are friends. Matter of fact, I was with Carl at the AoT conference in Alabama last Saturday, I believe. We are not opposing each other. We're just giving our membership a choice. We have both said whoever gets this position, this job, the other person is going to serve on that staff. So this is not an awkward thing, I don't think, for either one of us. We perhaps have different avenues of approach. I've approached this opportunity in one way, and Carl probably has served in different ways, different capacities. We both have served well, and we'll continue to serve well, and we will continue to be friends, whatever happens, and we'll help each other. And that's the way it should be.
Amen. I would love to see that mentality spread.
Yes.
In the SCV. I've seen just so many sad cases where it can ruin a friendship and stuff like that. So thank you guys for doing that. I think we got time for one more question. Mr. Keith kind of asked for a specific advice for camps that are maybe having trouble getting the opportunity to grow, and how you could get information to them. He's asking for a specific example if you have one on top of your head.
How to get camps to grow?
Yes.
Well, I think we kind of talked about that some, but I think it's getting out into your communities, getting out where people are, taking your recruiting booth out there and providing them information and talking to them about who we are. I think if you're any of your folks are in civic organizations, use that platform to let them know who you are. Even maybe give a presentation at that organization sometime about actually who the SCV is, and pass out information about the SCV and what we do and what we try to accomplish. Put your monthly meetings on in the newspaper. Just about every newspaper has community events. Most newspapers are oftentimes these smaller communities are looking for news to put in their newspaper. If you have somebody that likes to write articles about your community and maybe something in the war or some person in the war or something of local interest to your community about that gets the name out there. And of course, then you write that as a member of the SCV. So the SCV just keeps getting out there to your community. Yeah, I think there are several things that you can do. Just start. And when you have invite people to your meetings, and when you I hope everybody, and I know they don't, but I wish everybody would have a speaker. I think speakers are very, very important to meetings. Had it not at this camp that I recently visited that they didn't have a speaker, that meeting, if I hadn't just kind of taken over that meeting, I hate to use that term, but if I hadn't just spoken up and given them some ideas, that meeting would have probably been over in 30 minutes or less. And so we've got to have worthwhile meetings and invite people to our meetings and have a good meeting. Make them feel like they're important. You need them, and you're there to support them. And I was going to say something else. And find out what they're interested in. Some folks like to do one thing, and some folks like to do another thing. And there's a place at every camp for all kinds of things. Everybody doesn't have to be interested in the same thing. The more varied our camps are in activities, the better off we are. I mean, I work my camp to death. I know they're involved in more than they want to be involved with, but we have different people that come to different events. Not everybody comes to an event, but we have different people that come to different things because that excites them, and something else maybe doesn't do much for them. So we have to give them a variety of things and give them opportunities. We have to give them opportunities to serve. Number one, I think most people join our organization to serve and to be of benefit to our heritage. So give them that opportunity.
Wow. Yes, sir. Thank you. Loved everything talked about tonight, especially if you're in the Army of Tennessee tonight. I'm going to make sure I ask you doubly to share this out. We want everybody to have the best information possible to know which candidate they would like to support in the upcoming election. And of course, just as well to keep you all informed. Again, make sure to share this out. Make sure you tune in Monday for your weekly episode of SCV Chat at 7 p.m. I just heard a knock at my door. Confederate Standard Time. And make sure you also, for next week's episode, send your pictures, short videos and write-ups to scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com, and you will be featured on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want everybody to please thank Mr. Wood for coming on tonight and talking about his platform. He obviously, did not have to do that, so I would like to thank him personally for coming on, sir. And I wish you best of luck, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everybody. And remember to stay Southern, my friends.
Good night.